Hello and welcome to another episode of 50's Thoughts. My name, of course, is 5159 Hawko2, and welcome to the Bethesda conference. This one should be a little bit shorter. No one is joining me today, and in case you haven't noticed, yeah, I kind of got locked up in a vault this week. With kind of all hell breaking loose, the World War III's nuclear explosion stuff. I think it's just a little bit safer to stay in here. And what better place to talk about Bethesda with games like Doom and Fallout and Elder Scrolls coming out, and it seems appropriate to kind of just stand in a vault here and, just kind of stay safe from the big and giant monsters and creatures and violence that these worlds contain. So, without further ado, let's jump into our first game. So our first game is Doom, and Doom has been a while for a long time, but we haven't really seen it in recent years. So, what does the new Doom have in store for us? We have 2 single-player gameplay videos, and 1 new trailer that pretty much recaps the 2 gameplay videos, and a sneak peek to multiplayer. Now, to be quite honest, I feel like the trailer could have been left out or given to a different conference, or technically just left out together, because I don't think it's exclusive for any console. It's mainly for all consoles, and I feel like they could have just stayed with that, the 2 gameplay videos and then the sneak peek for multiplayer. But I'm not them, so I can't really say whether or not it was a smart decision or a bad decision. I can just say that I'm pretty glad that we got some of it, because I gotta say, this new Doom looks really good. It has that kind of push-forward combat feel, and what I mean by that, I believe they kind of call that is push-forward combat, where you can't bunker down. You really have to run around, and you really have to spray and pray. It's like a Call of Duty game without the logic, right? And Call of Duty doesn't really have that much logic to begin with. You just kind of, I guess, run and gun, and you kind of feel like you're in an 80s action movie, which I feel like would be better than the 80s, or I think it was 90s, maybe early 2000s, action movie of Doom that we actually got. So, I always have to rip on that film, because just, how can you have a Doom film without demons? How can you have a Doom film without demons? I think it was like aliens in the movie. I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. But, yeah, so it has that push-forward combat. Sorry, got off track. But it has that. The HUD looks amazing. The graphics are really amazing for the game. The game does not have regenerative health, which I think will be very interesting. I played I have a first-person shooter recently that had one, and I'm like, you know what? I can live without the regenerative health. It really puts you on edge. I forget if it was 007 mode in 007 Legends? It's the mode where you have to pick up the health and the armor in the campaign mode for that game. So I assume that it's going to play pretty similar to that. You got to pick up your armor, you got to pick up your health packs in order to kind of move on and progress with the game. So that's going to be pretty cool to kind of play around with and see how that kind of changes people's play styles and things like that. There's a double-barrel shotgun, miniguns, and chain guns, which I just gotta say, F yeah. It's just, I always loved, the kind of guns and stuff, and the gun designs are really cool in the new Doom, and I really loved them. Just the design of them looks really nice. And just, they have some pretty iconic, like the double-barrel shotgun or the BFG guns, which look better than ever, if you ask me. They have melee and gun variations for, each gun, and those look really sick. The demon variations are pretty cool too, along with the guns. The gore is sickening at some points. Blood and guts will fly, and I have to say, this is like the Mortal Kombat equivalent for the first-person shooter genre. It's so bloody, it's so gory, and it looks really nice in that kind of weird way. kind of like also too like how it doesn't have fall damage. That's a little weird to me. But you're pretty much in Halo armor, I assume. So I guess that's okay. But it really looks like Doom is a game where it's not really a Call of Duty game, though it does have that kind of similar, like, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be too much like Call of Duty, but more like Wolfenstein. But Wolfenstein with, you know, just really faster pace, because it does have that kind of same look to it as Wolfenstein did. You know, and switching weapons kind of has the wheel that Wolfenstein had, but instead of stopping it, it just really slows down time, and I think that that's a really cool mechanic. You know, it runs on a custom-built engine, and you can tell that this looks really good. I don't know what engine they're using, or if it was based off of anything. I think it's just totally brand new, like it says in the conference, but it seems like they do get a little bit of influence from like Call of Duty and Wolfenstein, so I'd be curious to know if they borrowed anything from that to make this new engine. But it looks really good. But on the multiplayer side, power-ups are back in multiplayer, which pretty good if you ask me. And they also introduced Snap Map, which is a level creation system that allows the player to create single-player co-op or multiplayer levels to keep the game fresh, and it is simple and easy to use. And when I saw this, I was like, we need this in Call of Duty for now on, because my god, I am tired of playing the same old maps over and over and over again, especially in like Advanced Warfare and Ghosts. It just seems like you keep getting the same maps because no one likes any of the other maps. So I feel like this, you know, I think Halo had something similar to it, but you know, it's really cool to see kind of how you do it, because it's like, okay, so you're gonna have a room here, and you can design, you know, all the cover that's in the room. You can design this, you can design that, and I really do think that it looks really, really neat and really cool, and I do think that it's gonna be really easy to use. And I can't wait to see what the community comes up with some of this stuff. I mean, it should be pretty cool to see, like, oh, if people create horror maps, if people create, you know, really cool multiplayer maps or recreations of other multiplayer maps. I don't know how likely that one would be, but you know, or just, you know, single player stuff, you know, the extend stories or things like that. I think that will be pretty cool to kind of just see everything kind of put together. And it's just, this is an excellent first look, and they did a great job at, you know, kind of making that nostalgia feel kind of fresh. You know, Doom and, you know, Wolfenstein and Duke Nukem, they all had the same kind of feel, and they kind of started to feel like clones of one another at some point. But I'm glad that they're trying to keep it fresh. You know, I do think that, you know, they're kind of falling into the Wolfenstein, the New Order type feel. But I don't think that will be too much of a problem. I still feel like it's going to be its own game, and it's going to do really well and things like that. And, you know, and I gotta say, Call of Duty should take notes on this, because, yeah, it's just, it's cool. It's amazing. Just what they're doing to keep this kind of first-person shooter franchise up to date, and trying to update other first-person shooters by kind of raising the bar a little bit. And I really hope that this game works on launch. I really hope that it turns out really good, because it could be a COD killer. We say that about every single game, but it could be, you know, depending on how the multiplayer plays, how the map creation, you know, really works and things like that. I do think that, you know, it's going to be that next really big arcade shooter that, you know, Call of Duty has had the throne for, or had the throne for the longest time. I forget how long it was actually theirs. But, you know, I think it will end in spring 2016 when this game comes out. I'm not sure. Black Ops 3 could be pretty good, but I do think that Doom is a good competitor. So, the next game that we have is Battlecry, and I don't know really what to say on this one. There was one trailer that kind of left me confused on what it was. The narrator really didn't sell it for me on, you know, the game, and kind of left me with not much to talk about since I had no idea what was going on with the game. But it does seem kind of like a TF2 in third person type game. It's just, it was different. I'll say that. It was really different. Something that I wasn't expecting to be kind of thrown out there. And, I wish I knew kind of more or learned more about it from what they gave us, because it's just like, alright, one trailer, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm recording this kind of weeks later from when E3 happened, and it's just like, I can't even, like, remember it too much. I had to watch it back, and I still couldn't remember, what it was or anything like that, and it still is very confusing to me. So I probably should watch some E3 interviews, kind of see what they are and see what it is, and maybe if they have like a demo, check it out. It seemed pretty cool. I'm not a TF2 fan, but I feel like my friends would really like this game if it is kind of that TF2 and third person type deal. So yeah, not much to say. Looked interesting, to say the least. But just, I didn't know what it was. So, we have Dishonored next. And I gotta say, I loved all the hype for the first Dishonored. I really gotta say that. And I got the game, and I played it, and I realized I was terrible at stealth, but I still loved the game, and I cannot wait to see what they had for Dishonored 2. And I really want to be sunk into this world again, and their debut trailer just really got me back into this game, and it's like, I really want to play more of Dishonored 1 and everything like that. So I probably should do that after this video, just play more Dishonored. Because I really got to beat the first one. I really loved just the gameplay of the first one and just the different stuff that you can do, and I thought it was really fun. I kind of know how it ends already, just from watching walkthroughs, and Red kind of plays through every game before I do. So, but Dishonored 2 looks like it's gonna be good. It takes place 15 years after the first game, and it is located in the Empire of the Isle. It was confirmed that Emily is related to Corvo in this trailer, so spoilers if you didn't know that. I think it was an Easter egg in the first game, I can't remember though, but this trailer confirms that Easter egg, and makes it so everyone knows it now. So Emily, the young girl from the first game, is now a playable character. She is one of the new assassins that you can play as out of, well, the two assassins really. There's Corvo, and now there's Emily. And so you can play as both of them. And Emily is badass. I really gotta say that. She is a badass. Just in this whole trailer, I don't know if Corvo trained her or what, but it's just, she's really good at killing people. And I really like that about her character here. It's just, it's so cool to see kind of how she grew up to, and like I said, Corvo's a playable character now, and I wonder if he's gonna play any different. I wonder if he's gonna be like slower, kind of like they did with Ezio in Revelations. I hope that they don't do that, because that would be stupid. I think that he'll have his same abilities and stuff. So and I hope that, like, if you played the first game, that your abilities transfer over in the second game. Just kind of story-wise in the first, just so everyone has the same powers and stuff, or at least Corvo does. And then Emily actually has new sets of powers. And also she has her own kind of experience, right? So here's the thing. You go through the same story. No matter who you play as, Corvo or Emily, it's the same story. It's just the way that they interact with the story is different. If Corvo sees innocent die, this is just an example, I don't know how it would actually be, but it's like Corvo sees an innocent die. He's like, meh. Well, Emily could be like, oh my god, that is just so sad and that's sickening that the innocent are being killed and things like that. And Corvo's just like, shit happens. I feel like it would be really cool to kind of see just how they see different situations and how that kind of meshes with their story. The sad part about the game is it is not co-op. I think it would have been pretty cool with co-op, but knowing how co-op games have gone in the past with Assassin's Creed Unity, I don't need to show that clip again, but you know, just knowing how things went with Assassin's Creed Unity, yeah, I really don't think that we need co-op in every game, and I'm glad that this game doesn't have co-op, but it does give you a reason to play it twice, which I think is a good thing. And I wish that, you know, maybe in the future, you know, you'll get maybe some co-op or something, but I really want them to focus on their story, because that's like the big thing, is story. And that's what made the first one really so good, was just the different storytelling behind it, and, you know, just kind of the gameplay elements too. So that's what I really liked about that. So no co-op, but it still is a single player game. And you can't switch your character mid-game, which is kind of sad. As soon as you choose Corvo or Emily, you cannot switch back to the other. If you want to play as both, you have to go through both walkthroughs of the game. And it really looks like a cool and it looks like it's worth the buy. I really do think that this is going to be one of those games where you gotta at least play it once. Maybe not all the way through, but you at least have to play it, because I do think that this is going to be cool. You know, you kind of saw a lot of new stuff. You know, Emily has kind of like that Venom tentacle ability that you kind of saw. You kind of saw just how much more steampunk this world is, and that was something that I thought was pretty cool about the original. And, you know, just that opening trailer that they have for this game is so good, and I want to get my hands on it because it looks like so much fun. It looks like, you know, it's worth the 2 playthroughs to kind of see Corvo and Emily's story. And, like, I loved Emily from the first game because it's like, you kill a bunch of people, she, like, draws you, you know, because she's like 9 in the first game, she draws you as like this monster and everything, but if you do it without killing people and stuff like that, you know, she draws you kind of as this angel. And I really wonder if, like, okay, so if you're playing Emily's story, Corvo I wonder if Corvo is going to be in the story too, just like, you know, and then they would switch roles or something, and like they would have a little banter whenever, you know, you're at that home base where you can buy ammo or different gadgets or things like that. I wonder if they would have a little bit of banter, because if they would have a little bit of banter like that, I'd love to see kind of those elements from the first game where it's like, oh, she thinks you're a monster, so she's drawing you as one. But I'd like to see, you know, just the conversation that she and Corvo would have, where it's like, you know, maybe it was the innocent, you know, person that Corvo was like, meh, and then in the, you know, when you get back to home base, she's like, so how'd it go? And he just like, it's not good out there. I watched an innocent woman die, and, or something like that. And she's like, and you didn't do anything about it? Huh? You know, that kind of thing. I feel like that could be pretty cool. Or like if it's the other way around, it's like Corvo's like, you are wasting time or something like that. I do really want to see that banter between those two characters and kind of just see how that kind of goes about. I wonder if she knows that Corvo is her father in the story now. I'd assume so, but you know, it would be kind of weird if like she was just trained by him and he never mentioned it. So if they were to like go that route, I would like to see the banter kind of between like, oh, you don't know about this yet, you didn't figure this out. You know, I feel like that would be kind of interesting to see too, just kind of how that works and everything. And yeah, it looks really good. And I could go on more about it, but just Dishonored looks great, and I really do want to see more of Dishonored 2, and I'm really curious to know how the game kind of plays out. I don't think that they got a release date. I didn't see one when I watched the conference, but they did announce that they were making a Dishonored remaster for the new gen. And okay, I gotta say this because I've said it before, I believe, but I want to say it again. It has to skip a console generation for it to be remastered. So PS3 to PS4, I don't think you need a remaster. But if it's PS2 to PS4, I can totally understand it. Or, you know, like, okay, Kingdom Hearts was a little different, right? That's the big one where everyone's like, well, didn't you like the Kingdom Hearts remaster? And I'm like, yeah, I love the Kingdom Hearts remastered. But it added more stuff. It was more content to the game. It was more games, in fact. You know, you had the cutscenes of one game, a game that was for the DS, and then, you know, then your main game. So you would have like Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and then 300 or Recoded or whatever it was, 356 days divided by 2 or something like that. I can't remember. But you would have those 3 games, and it's like, okay, you got extra content for each game, and I think that's how you do a remaster. It's just things like, you know, Dishonored being remastered is like, nah, we don't need a remaster for it. I can understand if you're like, okay, we're gonna make the DLC free for everyone on PS3 and things like that. I can understand that. But I don't think that we need a remaster for this. As much as the game is a lot of fun and really good, I don't think we need a remaster. And I think that's the problem that many companies are getting into nowadays, where it's like, our game's 5 years old, remaster, get more money. And it's like, no, you're missing the whole point of a remaster. So, I'm getting really sick of remasters now. I will not be picking up the Dishonored remaster, but I will pick up Dishonored 2. In the future, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna cover the next 2 games in one, because they're both, if you can see my t-shirt here, Elder Scrolls games. Woo! Man, I loved Skyrim. I played Oblivion. I love the Elder Scrolls games. Just because of their story, just because of the gameplay, just because of how good it actually is, and how much you can just get lost in it and do whatever you want. And I really love the Elder Scrolls games, and we have 2 games that we have to talk about. Elder Scrolls Online, which was a very disappointing thing when it came out. I don't know if they fixed anything on that recently. I just knew that like when it came out of the gate, it was pretty broken. And then we have Elder Scrolls Legends, which we'll talk about. So Elder Scrolls Online has a new trailer for its DLC, and I gotta say, there is no way you can get me into a MMO for the Elder Scrolls, as much as I love the Elder Scrolls, because I'm not an MMO guy, right? When it comes to Star Wars: The Old Republic, DC Universe Online, I'm trying to think of other ones that I've played in the past. Like, I thought they were okay, but I could not get into them. I'd rather watch them than play them, because it's just boring for me to play. And I feel like Elder Scrolls Online would have been the same thing, you know, oh, go to this location, kind of grind for enemies here, you hope that the, you know, people in the area didn't already grind them, and things like that. It's just like, I just wish that Skyrim had multiplayer type thing, where we didn't need an MMO version of it. We just needed like a 4-player multiplayer or co-op version of it. And I would have had that instead of the Elder Scrolls Online multiplayer. But back to what I was saying, you know, they have the new trailer for the DLC, and what I do have to say is the Dark Brotherhood ending to that trailer is really cool. And I've never played it, so I don't know if the Dark Brotherhood's in that game already. It didn't seem like it from what I saw of it, but if it doesn't, it looks like, you know, they were kind of foreshadowing, oh, the Brotherhood's coming, and I feel like the Dark Brotherhood could be pretty cool in this world. It was never my favorite faction to play through, but I really do think that their designs are really cool and things like that, and unlike the new creatures in the trailer, which I did not like them at all. They were just really meh. Like, they seemed so generic and could have been from any other game, and it didn't seem right in that game, and it didn't sell me at all of getting it. You know, with its subscription fees and, you know, all that different stuff. It's like, no, just make it free to play. Maybe I'd pick it up eventually, but it's just like, no, not at this point in time. I'm just not interested, and getting it or doing anything with it because it doesn't interest me like at all. You know, I just wish that it could have been a little different. It could have done something better in order to get me into it, and it didn't. And I'm kind of mad that, you know, the Elder Scrolls Online is still being kind of bigly supported, where people are just like, it exists. Like, ever since the game came out, it exists. So, I guess, you know, it's kind of padding, because, you know, it's the Elder Scrolls, and, you know, Bethesda doesn't have that much stuff to show off at their conference. You know, they had 2 pretty big games so far with Dishonored and Doom, but they didn't really have much else to show. But we will get to the rest of it, the stuff that were pretty big, in a little bit. But the next thing is Elder Scrolls Legends. Again, this is the premiere trailer, and this one's a little weird, I do have to admit. I think that they're trying to go for that Hearthstone train, you know, like, oh, let's get into card games, woo! And I'm like, we don't need a card game for the Elder Scrolls. It doesn't make that much sense. But the character designs on the cards look great. It's free to play, which could be a bad or a good thing, but I'm assuming it's going to be a good thing. You know, and that all depends on the microtransactions with the games, you know, like buying the booster packs or whatever. You know, and it is PC and iPad accessible. So maybe I'd pick it up. And it should be kind of interesting to play. And this is kind of the guy from, you know, that kind of hates card games. Like, I don't really like Pokemon, the card game, you know, the TCG, you know, emulation of it. I'm not really big into Hearthstone or those kinds of games. I don't get why they make video games versions of it, where when you can literally have the cards in your hand and, you know, put them down and, you know, trade them and things like that. I think that, you know, the video game experience for a card game is bad, but the actual card game experience itself is a lot better. And I don't know, like, if they're just gonna make the Elder Scrolls a card game that's a game, I don't know how that's gonna work. I'd rather them make it a card game and a card game video game, if you know what I mean. I wish that there was more to it, and it doesn't seem like they're gonna have more to it. It's just gonna be, oh, it's a card game that you can play on your PC or iPad. And I really wish that, you know, they would expand a little bit and go, yeah, you know, you can buy actual Elder Scrolls cards and collect them, because I think that's the main point of a card game. And, you know, sure, it's cool to kind of own them online and stuff, but I really do think that this is something that you need to have in hand. You know, when you're playing the game, you know, put it down right in front of you. I really think that that's the best way that you can experience a card game, and not through a video game emulation. Do I still think that it will be pretty cool? Yeah. Will I still try it out? Yeah. Will I make videos on it? Probably not. Again, I don't know what the release date is for it, but it does look kind of interesting, and you know, at least the art design is very cool and very, you know, it's very cool, and it's very just interesting to kind of see those kind of characters from the Skyrimverse come onto cards. You know, that sounded wrong, but you get what I'm saying. You know, being put on cards. So should be pretty cool. Not really interested in this Elder Scrolls stuff. I really would want another main Elder Scrolls title, but knowing how Skyrim's doing, we won't be needing that. And knowing that Fallout 4 is actually the next game that I'm going to be talking about, you know, I don't think we need much else, you know, from Elder Scrolls just quite yet. I do hope that that is the next game that they will be working on in the main series. But besides that, I really don't have much else for the Elder Scrolls in this conference. So, we'll jump into Fallout 4 next. So, Fallout 4. Can I just leave it at that? I mean, it's Fallout 4! I mean, we've been waiting for this for a long time, and I'm glad that we're finally getting around to it, because this looks like it's going to be fucking awesome. And I do think it's going to be fucking awesome, because it is Fallout, and it's a new iteration of Fallout, running on that Skyrim engine that everyone loved. And I cannot wait to see what this game turns into. There were several gameplay videos, a gameplay trailer, and a gameplay demo that they had. And this is the reason why we came to watch this conference, and the reason why this conference is here. Because it's such a good game series. And I'm glad that they had this conference to go, yeah, we have these games. Let me show you this one. This is the one that you want to spend all your money on. This is the one that, you really want right here. Fuck all the other games that we showed you today. This. And this is the main one. This is the bad boy. This is the Ferrari of the games that we're showing off here today. All the other games, they're nice, they're nice USVs, or minivans or stuff like that, but this. Yeah, this is the monster truck. This is the Ferrari. This is, the big cash cow for Bethesda. And just when everyone started seeing this, they were all jumping around like monkeys and shit. And, I bet some people may have fainted when they heard Fallout 4. I didn't personally, but I bet a couple people did. I bet many people maybe jumped out a window, because of how shocked they were at this game coming out, and not in a bad way, but in a really good way. Like, yes, and then they accidentally jumped out the window. If anyone did that, I am so sorry to their families if they have to pay those big medical bills. Moving on from the dark stuff. This game has been in development for 4 years, and they had a little bit of a concept art montage to kind of start us off. And the art is excellent. That artwork is just so beautiful. And, I understand there are some people that don't like that type of thing, but I thought it was just beautiful. Just to see all the concepts and just seeing the world kind of be set down right in front of you, even though it's not their final designs or anything like that. It's just, it looks great. And, it looks beautiful. And that was just the concept art. That's not actual gameplay yet. But, after that they did show, kind of the gameplay stuff. And, they showed it off both in the concept art stuff. Like, every button, has its own thing. But, it's just, it has extreme amounts of detail, which looks great. And I just, wow. To know that they've done that much work is amazing. And the new character creation system should be amazing to see what monstrosities people come up with that. Because it's like one of those drag the face type things the way that you want it. So I assume that we're going to have Bucko the Clowns, where it's like, oh, the big floppy ears and the tiny little nose and the big lips and like, the jawline that goes out to here and shit like that. And I feel like just having that in there will make just crazy monstrosities. But I feel like people who do like that kind of customization will have a lot of fun with it. And I feel like people like me who don't really like that kind of customization, that like more of the, okay, here's your presets, or, oh, scroll this way, to kind of get that nose to the form that you want. I kind of like that form better than the click and drag and stuff like that. But, I hope that they do have that feature in there too, which I assume they will. I mean, you can't just have the dragging, so like someone has a droopy lip or half Asian eyes where one's going up and the other one's going down, or whatever. But back on topic. So that looks pretty good. The game will start right before World War III, and then we'll move into the wasteland about 200 years later. If I'm gonna be stuck in this vault for 200 years, oh, I hope I have good internet. I hope that my fans survived. Yeah. But besides that, I'd like to know kind of the history of vaults, because I really don't know too much about them. But I always thought that they were really cool, how they were like government experiments, right? So it's like one vault had all women, the other vault had all males. One was co-ed, but they were encouraged, to be with one another. Or this one, they were co-ed, but they were completely, shut off from one another. I think it would be really cool to kind of see just what new vaults they come up with for you to kind of explore in this kind of wasteland, because I assume that there's going to be more than just that vault that you come out of. And the main characters are actually voiced this time around, which I thought was really cool. And it kind of has that Star Wars The Old Republic, Telltale Games, or Mass Effect, Dragon Age type feel, where it's like you have 4 options, right? You have 4 options for each line of dialogue that the characters can say, and like it would be like, oh, how are you today? Option number 1, fuck you, asshole. Option number 2, good, how are you? Option 3, stay silent. And option 4, why do you care? It's kind of those kinds of options, and I'm glad that this game kind of has that. But I do think it's going to be really weird hearing your character have a voice, especially when there's only one voice for both male and female characters. But it's kind of understandable why there's only one voice for each character, since there's like 1,300 lines of dialogue for the main character to say, and having more than that, I think, would have overloaded the game. But it looks like it's going to be really good and a lot of fun, and just like I hope that we get some pretty witty dialogue and shit like that. Vault Boy is back. Okay, I love Vault Boy. Vault Boy is one of those characters where it's like, that's awesome. That is one of the most awesome character designs ever. Not because it's kind of the cartoony, 1950s character, but I just love how it looks and how it kind of works, I love that, just about the Vault Boy, or, yeah, Vault Boy. I just kind of love how he's kind of used in each game, like, oh, he's the mascot of the game and stuff like that, and I'm still waiting to see a cover where he's just, like, on the front, but, I don't know if we'll ever get to that. Usually we see, like, a Brotherhood of Steel character, or, NCR, I think, was Fallout New Vegas. So I hope that we get to see that on there. So Vault Boy is back, and the Pip-Boy as well, but the Pip-Boy has a new design. And the new Pip-Boy design looks amazing. It looks great. And I can't wait to see what the Pip-Boy has in store for us, because there's like just that kind of redesign looks really good, and then it has just your normal stuff on there, and then I think it has a couple extra stuff too. Once I get to that in my notes, I'll talk about it. But yeah, it's just the Pip-Boy and the Vault Boy are back. The gameplay demo had some funny lines in it, which makes the dark world of Fallout more tolerable, and I think that's something that most post-apocalyptic games should have, is some sort of comedy. Because could you imagine, right? Could you imagine playing through a game with no comedy whatsoever in kind of a dark and gritty type world? I really would hate that, and I'm really glad that they kind of have some of those witty lines in there, and I hope that they have more of those in there. Let's see here. The special traits selection menu is back. Third person and first person are both in the game, so you can switch back at any time. It has a Skyrim-like compass. I wasn't a fan of the Skyrim-like compass, but I wasn't opposed to it either. It's a little better than Fallout's, I would say. I just like the Skyrim one a little better than Fallout's. But, it should be pretty cool to kind of see that in there. And you are not, back to the dialogue thing, which I'm sorry. I'm kind of jumping around. It's just I have all these notes. But you are not locked in dialogue anymore. You can walk away from it, you can listen to it, you can shoot the person in the face, whatever you want, during the dialogue pieces. You can do it. And I love that. Man, just, like, could you imagine, right? you're walking, kind of like this, you know, and someone stops you, right? Like right over here. And he's like, "Hi, neighbor," and you're like, bang. How great would that be? You know, anyone that you hate, just dead on an instant, before they even have to say one word to you. I love that. So it's just, that really proves that the dialogue in this game is going to be a lot of fun to listen to. And then we have something else that I got. It's just a small complaint. We have another Riley from Call of Duty Ghosts in this game. Yeah, we have a dog main companion, kind of like we did in Call of Duty Ghosts. At first, I thought this was a bad thing. And yeah, I don't really like the idea of that kind of dog companion. And everyone knows that Fallout kind of did it first with Dogmeat, which I believe is this dog. But at least they made him more useful than Riley in the Call of Duty campaigns. Or in Fallout 4, you know, Dogmeat is just what I'm going to call him. Literally has some very interesting mechanics. So you can point at something and go, "Fetch that for me," and he will fetch it. You know, you could tell him to attack, you can tell him to rest. You know, he's kind of like, I want to say a Pokemon, but he's a dog in a post-apocalyptic world. Super cool. I'm trying to think of what else with that the dog did. I think they just kind of showed him like running alongside you and attacking and picking up stuff for you. And I feel like it's not going to be a big inconvenience unless if they make the dog follow you throughout the whole game, which it didn't look like. It looked like you can pick him up as a side quest or as a companion, and it's like, "Here, buddy, join me." And it's like, all right. You know, I'm not really a dog person, so therefore I can't say that I hate the idea of the dog being in the game, and I really don't think that you should be there. But I do think that he's not the companion that I'll be picking up in the story of the game. VATS is back, the VATS system. So, and this time, instead of kind of stopping everything, it slows it down dramatically, kind of like the Doom's weapon wheel. It slows it down, so like they're just like, and this game just is amazing. Just the more I talk about it, the more I want to play it. I'm so excited! Hey! You know, it's just, VATS is better than ever, and it looks amazing. The guns look amazing. You know, the Pip-Boy design looks great on its interface. It's a little bulkier than the old ones, but I still love it. I'm not a fan of the color, but I still love it. You know, the Pip-Boy has games inside of it that you can play. I forgot to mention that when I was talking about the Pip-Boy earlier. But like you can play like Snake or Tetris, and, or their version of Donkey Kong in the Pip-Boy, and that I love games that have like little mini games in it, and I hope that I don't spend too much time on the mini games compared to the actual game. Because just some of those look like they could be kind of fun, and just the game in general looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Wow, I've been going for 14 minutes on this topic. Gonna keep going though. You know, but it really looks kind of cool, the Pip-Boy just in general. And here's the thing, if you buy the collector's edition, you get your own Pip-Boy. That you can put your phone into. And I'm like, I don't have an iPhone, but I want it. I want it. Take my money. Take my money. Take it out. Take it out. Play that kind of hat clip. It's just, wow. You know, it's just, that is so awesome. And you can download an app that has your in-game, you know, stats in it, so it's like an actual Pip-Boy. So you don't have to keep going back to the like Pip-Boy menu in the game. You can just look at the Pip-Boy on your app, and like you don't need the Pip-Boy to actually have the app or anything like that. It's gonna be free when the game launches. But I mean, come on. We all want to sit there with our controller, wearing our Pip-Boy, playing the game. You know, it's just, it really adds to that kind of cosplay thing. And it's like, you know, I think like iPhone 6 Pluses won't fit in there, but your typical, you know, smartphone will fit in there, and it's just it makes me want to get a smartphone and the collector's edition of this game, because I want it. It's just like, take my money, take it, go ahead. I don't have a console yet that can play it, but I want it. So that's something that was really cool. And also another really cool thing is you can rebuild the wasteland by creating homes and whole settlements. You can set up defenses so bandits and other threats won't destroy your settlement that you've created, and it just seems like such a badass optional feature. I mean, think about it. You're creating the city. You're creating, shit. What was the first game in New Vegas? Goodsprings. You can create your own Goodsprings. You can create, just all these little cities, and Megaton and things like that, and like you have full customization over it, and it's like amazing. It's just I don't know how this game can get any cooler. You literally get to build your own city, and you get to defend that city, and you get to customize each individual house, each little couch and things like that. It just, wow, so much customization. And usually customization is a bad thing, but at least these are kind of optional. In Call of Duty, it's like, oh, you want a better gun? Well, we have this customization version that is superior to the base version and things like that, and it's like, we don't need any of that, and yet you really insist that we play with it because it makes our gameplay better. And it's just like, oh, we gotta grind for the Obsidian Steed and things like that. And, you don't have to, but it's like, but at least with this, it's like, it's all optional. You don't have to do this. This is something that we put into the game, that way you can do it. And it really reminds me of the Skyrim DLC, I think it was Hearthfire? Something like that, where you got to build your own house and things like that, but it's taking it to the next level where you build a whole community. I mean, I've been trying to do that on YouTube for 3 years, right? A whole community. But now I can build an actual community and call it 50ville. It's just so cool, just what you can do with it. And also, everything now has a purpose. Every little item has a purpose. And there are thousands of things that you can do, something with in this world. You can have a toy car and take the screws out of it, for a sight. Or take these pieces, like take the glass lens out of an eyeglass to make a scope. And it's just, man, I love this customization in this game. And it looks like it's going to be great because you have 50 base weapons that are in the game with 700 modifications to those weapons that you can apply to those weapons. And it's like, man, I want this game. It is so good. It is so amazing just to see what this game can kind of throw at us. And it's just like, yep, don't need to do anything else with my life. Fallout 4 is the rest of my life. So there's so much to this game. The power armor also has modifications that you can use, as well as the clothes that your character can wear also has more customization in it. You can cross-dress, you can dress up as a panda bear, you can just do whatever you want in this new world. And I'm gonna have an overload just from watching this, because this is the best game that I think we've seen in any conference so far. We've had some pretty good contenders, but this looks like the best game that we can have out on the market. The HUD looks great. The Deathclaws have returned, so be careful. That way you don't get your ass ripped to shreds. So they have it so they have these death arenas like they do in Oblivion or Fallout New Vegas, where it's like, oh, you can have 3 guys going up against you, bare fists, and just kind of punch them out. That's so fucking sweet. and the vehicle gameplay and chopper gunners are in there, you know, and it's just like, this game is gonna be great. And the best part, it's coming out November 10th. November 10th of this year. This game is coming out. And I need to just, wow. I need a moment. So once I get back from my little moment, we will talk about the last game, or at least I think it's the last game, which is actually out for all of you to play right now. Alright, the last game is a mobile app game, and I know what you're thinking. You know, this isn't going to be that cool. You know, it's not going to be that great. It's a mobile app, but it's Fallout Shelter. Now, imagine you have the ability to create your own vault. You can choose what people live in it, how to defend it, everything. So you get to build your own vault on your iPad. How cool is that? You know, every single character design is designed like Vault Boy. Even cooler. You know, the vaults can get super huge in size. You know, the Pip-Boys can, you know, do it with one another to give you new Pip-Boys, or Vault Boys, sorry, you know, to roam around the vault. The best part of it is there's no timers, no internet connection needed, barely any microtransactions. If you want to buy the lunch boxes that give you new items, that's the only microtransactions that are in the game. And it's free. It's a free game that is so badass. It is free on your iPad device, and it came out before this video. So it is definitely worth the download, and it is an amazing mobile game. So I suggest that you go out, you download it, and you play it, because it seems like such a fun mobile game. You know, I don't really get psyched about mobile games. The only mobile games that I really play are Candy Crush clones, the actual Candy Crush, and I stopped playing Words with Friends recently. I know, very sad, very sad. It's just, I cannot stand that game anymore. But Fallout Shelter seems like a game that I would literally download, check into every day, and just play non-stop, because it just seems like it's that fun of a game. And, you know, just kind of building your whole vault, and I wonder if you can do kind of the things that vaults normally do in the games, where it's like, oh, this is some sort of experiment, you know, involved, and I bet that you probably could. But I really want to see how this game kind of plays. I really do think that it's worth the download. It's out now for everyone, so you could download it. It's just I need a iPad or Apple device that you know, is, I think, iOS 7, like one of the newer iPads or iPhones, because it's not on anything else, not yet at least. It's more an Apple thing. So if you have an Apple device, you may play the game and it will look great, but if you do not have one, you're kind of screwed. Yeah, that sucks. But like I said, it just looks great. Can't wait to kind of play it once I do have one of those devices. And I do think that for mobile gamers, it will be something to kind of get them into Fallout. You know, they can kind of learn the Fallout story through that. Before they kind of jump into like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, or Fallout 4 once it finally comes out. You know, I think that this video went by kind of quick compared to the other ones. Mainly because there's not much to talk about besides Fallout. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure that you guys subscribe if you're still around. Make sure that you click that like button. Make sure you click the same button if you dislike the video, because it's the exact same thing. Make sure that you add this video to your favorites. Share it to your friends if they have not heard this news from anyone else about any of this. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I think next week I'll be out of this vault, but I don't know yet. It depends on how the world looks on the outside, so yeah. Well, we will talk to you guys next week. So, till then, see ya.